Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce, mediation, and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss the Unimpeachable Rebuttal with Zachary Meyers, a CVA and CPA in Winfield, West Virginia. He is a testifying expert and has been qualified as an expert in the forensic accounting, taxation, business valuation, and pension valuation fields, specifically in civil, marital, and criminal litigation. I think if we start with some of the basics. So, can we start to just describe like what is a rebuttal report? Like we know what it is, but what is a rebuttal report specifically when you have a valuation expert or another testifying expert in a litigation setting?
That's a good distinguishing characteristic because today I'm going to be talking about just expert witness work in general. About half of my practice is, personal injury, commercial damages, things like that, and the other half consists of valuation in some way, shape, or form, and that's also in litigation. A rebuttal, generally speaking, whenever you're in court, you have sometimes two different experts hired by either side of the case, and so depending upon maybe who puts out a report first, it is common that the opposing counsel or opposing side will hire their own expert to rebut your work, or you will be hired to rebut someone else's work. And those expert reports get put on the record generally, and you have to deal with a number of nuances with that when you're talking about either someone else's report or having to deal with what they're saying about your report, which can really, the first time you read an expert report written by someone else about your expert report is shocking. I think in the article I write that I'm clutching my pearls because literally some of the stuff that you'll hear from opposing experts, it's not neutral, it's not unimpeachable, it's literally just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at you. And I think with the pandemic, you have to deal with this a lot more because people are really thirsty. People are really trying to just really try to either take shots at your credibility and what have you, and that's what we're seeing a lot of. So what a rebuttal is effectively sometimes like a college paper size report just trashing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, even some additional clarification is like you can have an opinion, right? So you would be the testifying expert. You could be a fact witness, but we rarely do that. That's just talking about the stuff, facts. You can be a rebuttal witness. You could be a rebuttal expert, which means you just come in and say, hey, sorry, Zach, you suck. This is how bad you are. Or you could be a testifying expert that provides a rebuttal, which a lot of times we're just doing that within testimony is providing a rebuttal. But I totally agree with you. The rebuttals that I've seen recently are almost attacking. And I think that they're from my professional, and I'm sure you have an opinion too. My professional opinion is that we can provide rebuttal reports and critique another expert's opinion in a less personal way and a more professional way. And maybe that's what you're not seeing a very professional manner. Is that what you're?
That, to some extent, yeah. I mean, what you're dealing with is a lot of times, and some people don't do this on purpose, but when you're talking about that reticular activation system where basically they're playing on your fears or your values. So what you'll see is a rebuttal that will either take shots at the fears as far as, this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or this person has made a glaring error in professional judgment, which really there isn't much of such a thing. There's usually more than one ways to calculate something. But someone will write an expert report saying, well, they'll mischaracterize an aspect of it and say, well, this is wrong, when actually it's just a difference of professional opinion. Or they'll try to say that you didn't consider this, that, and the other. I've literally had experts say that I didn't consider something that only their client can provide and has yet to provide on the record. So
Right.
literally, you'll see a lot of disingenuous dissertations, which is something that I'm seeing quite a bit, and you have to deal with those. The first response is to fire right back at them. That doesn't necessarily help because you can muddy the waters with that. You can also get the, a judge or the clerks or whoever is reading these reports, when they see a bunch of just garbage like Jerry Springer type stuff going on where everybody's just bashing everybody else, sometimes they tune everything out. Uh,
Mhm.
so what you want to do in your expert rebuttals, or having, you'll see these expert rebuttals that do nothing but just, sometimes they don't even provide an opinion.
Mhm.
Sometimes, that's the first type of rebuttal in the article I wrote, the unimpeachable rebuttal. I talk about the different types of rebuttals that you see and how to deal with them. And
Mhm.
so, a lot of times people will play on the fears of either the judge or the reader of the report that this other expert's not credible, he has no value, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he or she, is just uh, speculating, things like that. Those are the fears. So you have to sort of reemphasize the value of your report and kind of sort of call these other experts out for the behavior that they're doing, as opposed to getting into this street fight on paper.
Yeah. No, I think that that is really important because when I've seen rebuttal reports that have come in for my reports, anytime that I'm issuing a rebuttal, and I am trying to be very careful in how I critique it,
Mhm.
because there is gray, right? I mean, valuation is some black and white, and then there's some gray.